Wouldn't want to get that over the air. But the fact that it's coming out in a movie, now you know a little bit more about it if you watch it. Wow, that's a delay. Down when they come in.
Sure. Oh, we, breakfast.
I had an interesting career, Jim.
You did. You did. Never a dull moment.
No, it was not.
Never a dull moment.
I'm sure that gives into my poor health, actually. I've had 6 heart attacks. I got 4 stents. 1 stent is dead. I've had 3 strokes.
I'm not happy about having to be here this morning.
Oh, I'm thrilled. I'm beyond happy.
Exuberant.
Yeah, that too, exhilarated.
But I think it's being grateful. It's being secure with yourself.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Being content.
How's life?
I am content.
I was up in India this week.
That's important.
AIC.
There's more room today.
Judy's in there.
Mics are hot.
It's amazing what a difference
You
one
want to cool
person
them
makes.
down? Anything exciting happened yesterday at the conference?
It's a good day. Yeah, it's a good day. Oh, you got copies, good. I got one copy. We probably should. This is. Right.
You work with wood?
You have your stuff,
Somebody does.
I mean, I have one. I have an insert.
Your list.
your numbers are.
So, yeah, I pay $450 light bill. I got a geothermal.
We want
My wife's paranoid. We have a generator, we have electric heat,
Is that the?
and we have a wood stove.
That's it.
We got it all.
Okay.
We got it all. She insists on using
Thank you.
wood stove, which is my job, I guess.
Everybody ready?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You're supposed to call it.
Everybody has the agenda. Do we have any changes to the agenda? I did add a couple changes to yesterday. Julie sent me a request for Kim Robertson, who wanted to be on for Q4 2025 claim, and was that all taken care of?
I think so. We all signed
That's right.
stuff yesterday.
Okay, so scratch that. That's not on there. The only other thing I added to new business was the SBOA internal controls standards discussion.
Edward Dealer mentioned yesterday, he might want to share some things about internal controls.
So I put him.
And Darren, for us deaf people,
Ed,
if you speak louder, you speak pretty
I
soft, because I have a hard time hearing you,
Okay.
even with my hearing aids up.
Okay. Anybody else have any changes?
No.
Motion to adopt the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
Aye. Nice. All opposed?
You want me to count you?
Hmm?
I have roll call.
I did not create this, so I don't know where this came from. So I sent to the info and you created the bullet points. This isn't my style. So I don't know what that is.
Or the meeting that.
Top numbers are right here. Is that all, Matt?
I don't know, but I will tell you that there's some information in the middle of this that is private. Shouldn't be spoken out loud, that section right there.
Okay.
Is somebody coming here?
10 minutes from last meeting.
Thank you, Chair.
You got one?
We have a salary.
Yes, we do actually, and I should have a copy of what I put together to you guys by tomorrow afternoon. Should be able to, if you're agreed with it after we send it to you, if you agree with it, then you should be able to pass it on the regular meeting.
Everybody good with that?
I didn't catch it.
Salary ordinance update?
We'll be ready tomorrow afternoon.
Send it out.
Can't
I'll
change
do
it.
it tomorrow.
Okay. Indiana Upland ROI update.
But just backing up a second, should we add that to our agenda? Just go ahead and say, let's add it to our next council agenda.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
Yeah.
I've got it under reports, so it'll show up
Okay,
until it's resolved.
good deal. All right.
Scott, do you have anything on Indiana Upland's ROI?
Yeah, they've, so let's backtrack, get everybody caught up. I'm trying to. So the CVC has come before us a couple times and has approved, I think it ended up being $3,000, $4,000 for the creation of basically an application, a plan for the region, this is about the three counties, Owen, Monroe, and Brown, basically being joining together. We're one of the last counties in the state that doesn't have access to U.S. Department of Commerce funds for roads, public safety, the things that we need to do essential government services. We've not had access to those funds in the past. We're one of very few counties that has not for whatever reason. And so Monroe, Owen, and Brown are a contiguous region. Those three counties don't, they're with us, right? Where all three of us have not had access to this for whatever reason. And so CVC approved for up to 15 or 20, and it ended up only costing $4,000 to do probably over $120,000. It's not a study, it's like an application or plan to present as a region to the Department of Commerce for their consideration, essentially to allow us to apply for those essential funds for a variety of projects that we will decide as a county. We will, and before we even get to that point, if they do approve us, that would come back to the county, and the county could say yes or no.
County or counties?
Counties, but each county could say yes or no. Like every step in the process, we as a county have the ability to say, no, thanks. We've got all our road money covered, or we don't need any more of the public safety funding, or, or infrastructure is the other piece. And so, so that's in process. So the 4,000 has been provided, and I think conveyed to ROI. ROI is the group out of Indy out of Bloomington that handles. We're part of the ROI regional opportunities initiatives. I know you guys have all heard this multiple times. We're already a part of that region, and they have agreed to administer this regional application for us, which is wonderful because Julia doesn't have to do it. And it's bureaucracy and administration, and they have taken the burden off of our shoulders for that. So I'm very thankful for that. So next steps are receive applications from organizations that would like to help us create that plan, and then lots of work to hear from local county stakeholders to create that plan. Not dissimilar from what a comprehensive plan or a kind of the IU stuff that's just gathering good community input. So lots of actual community engagement will occur through that process and through that organization that is chosen. And then we go from there. They create the plan, they submit to the feds say yes or no, then it comes back to the counties, and the counties say yes or no. And then if everyone agrees to do it, then Brown County retains all rights to decide what, if anything, we ever apply for or do as a part of that project. So there's no delegation of any county authority to anyone other than our own county itself. And so it's all the authority. There is a group that will be created of an equal number of people from each county, which is really good because Owen and Brown are very rural in nature. And so, we know for years that Monroe and Bloomington, mainly Bloomington, has kind of been able to capitalize on a lot more of the funding that comes through the region and other things than we have, partially because they're just bigger, have more capability, have a lot more private capital to put towards projects, and a lot more growth. But in this case, in this region, Owen and Brown will outnumber Monroe in terms of the representation on the board. And so we will have more of a rural kind of feel, I think, in general. And a lot of Monroe is rural, actually, believe it or not. And so anyway, that's kind of the where things will go. This is a several month process. You're going to get real tired about hearing about it. There will be meetings, stakeholder, lots of in-depth data analysis and composition for our county specifically, as well as the region. So yeah, it's good to have access to public safety, roads, infrastructure, quality of life types of funds. And speaking of quality of life, you know, kind of going way back, the reason we're talking about this is a year or so ago, the council asked me to pursue new revenue opportunities for the council that do not include taxing our residents, okay? And so this is one of those opportunities for us to capture outside revenues of our county. And we can, and you may recall the other thing the council asked me to do was to secure innkeeper's tax dollars, which I have successfully done through the legislature last year. There's a great effort, a group of quality of life board members, very diverse group of individuals now working to figure out how to spend, invest, I should say, and leverage those dollars, probably 20 million over 20 years, for the benefit of locals and our tourism economy. And so the beauty of that is now we have the ability to take these innkeepers tax dollars to benefit local projects and leverage those with, if we decide to go forward, this regional federal effort or roads, infrastructure, public safety, all that would benefit locals and our tourism economy, but matched with innkeepers dollars, which we don't have to pay. So really good combination, maximizing the leveraging of those funds. So good stuff.
Is there a
So,
timeline?
Scott,
Is there a timeline on the ROI?
There is, and it's lengthy and I think,
I mean,
If
when
you-
are we gonna end up having to? Have to,
could we put this on maybe the next agenda and I'll bring kind of a more detailed timeline of, and I'll probably know more at the next meeting. We haven't had a meeting. We're waiting kind of to see how the, the plan moves forward. And so hopefully by next meeting, I'll have a better update on a timeline, kind of next steps as far as immediate steps and probably public engagement is going to be within, 3 to 5 months, I would think, maybe sooner, but
Scott,
Yeah.
without being superficial, what kind of projects are we discussing? Specific type projects, like locals, how's it gonna
Mhm.
help locals?
well, roads, bridges, public safety, infrastructure.
So
I
are they
mean,
county
pick one.
roads, city road, I mean, or is it? state-
County,
County
our
roads,
roads,
okay.
our infrastructure, our public safety. It could be equipment, it could be emergency communication improvements. We know, with the recent tornado in the state park, there are, and in other parts of our county, there are gaps in our emergency communications. Facilities, could be invested in some cases, infrastructure may be needed for, homes to be built or, a, you know, but there's a whole, and here's the thing. The projects that we can invest in aren't, they are projects the county will choose. So those projects may or may not exist right now, but whatever project is applied for in those spaces, the county will choose whether it wants to do that. No one else.
So is it
So-
basically grants with?
Yeah,
Okay. So it's not like we get a lump sum of
No.
funds somewhere, it's all based on grant. So there would be outgoing money from us that we'd have to allocate to pay for these grants.
Well,
And
and
maintain them.
the idea is the innkeeper's tax money could be that match. So,
But from what I'm understanding from
Mm-hmm.
the innkeeper's tax, that would be related to tourism.
yeah, it depends.
So-
it depends on what it is, I guess. I mean, if it's unrelated to tourism, then those couldn't be applied. But I think in most cases, I would like to make the case that public safety and roads in a lot of cases.
So
in some
mostly
cases,
we're
I mean,
doing
it
this.
just depends. So we're
mostly
talking
doing this
theoretically here,
For
but
tourism or
no,
basically, because that's the impression I'm getting. This is basically
no.
towards tourism from what you're saying.
The beauty of the match that we don't have to pay is coming from that innkeeper's tax, right? And so if there are projects that would benefit locals and tourism, then that funding source could be used, right? We know that. And so that needs to be determined based on the project. We're talking theoretical here, so it's hard to capture everything. If there's a project, nothing to do with tourism, then that match could come from private industry,
I have no interest.
Well, I think we do. I think we underplay our hand there. I mean, it's,
Name one.
well, I mean, tourism is an industry, but,
Yeah.
we also have, a very large distillery on the hill over here, which is actually kind of a manufacturing site. So, I mean, we say we don't have industry, but there, so anyway, we're talking theoretical, so it's hard to,
Right, well, yeah, but
You
in
know,
order to understand if I'm
yeah.
gonna vote for something, I wanna know what it is,
Yeah.
other than just superficial
yeah.
fluff to get something
We've
through.
got some input from Commissioner's office that may help with some of that.
One of the things that you're speaking that this could do, because you were public safety, this be something that we could utilize for study, we know the system, so would that be something that we could,
Let me give you an example, and I just thought of one.
Okay.
And again, these are, we don't know what we want to do until a project presents itself, right? And then that decision is made based on the merits of that project locally. But here's an example from our past where we could have benefited from something like that. In Helmsburg, the largest employer in the county had a building burned down. They wanted to replace the largest employment opportunity in our county, but had infrastructure problems. This grant could have provided funding to resolve those infrastructure problems, whether it be a water tank to increase pressure, infrastructure related to water utilities. My understanding was, just as an example, water pressure was a problem, fire
Right.
protection was a problem, right? And that's a big project that we could not fund locally with taxpayer dollars. We just didn't have the money. So we lost the largest employer in our county. Okay. This grant could have provided funding to help us fix that problem and retain the largest employer in our county as one example that we know happened to us right in the past. This is a way for us to capture potentially millions of dollars for that type of activity that would help us in a specific case like that. And so whether a tornado siren would have helped that problem but you're talking about public safety and kind of related issues, and the answer is yes. If it helps us
Short answer, yes, we could.
yeah,
possibly
but I want to give that specific example because that hurt us badly in the county. We lost the largest employer in our county
So,
because of the lack of these types of specific funds. So
Right.
a great example. Yeah.
So, Tim,
Yeah, are you backing into the economic development district that was proposed back in 2024 and not supported by the commissioners? That's what you're referring to, Scott.
No, this is totally different.
Department of Commerce, are you not?
It's totally different.
This has got nothing to do with the EDA?
This is a
Department of Commerce?
3-county region and it's totally new.
And you guys can do that independent of the commissioner's office?
I don't know.
I think it's
how
gonna
that-
require.
Yeah, I think it's going to
cooperation
require,
from all of
Well,
us.
then you might want to
That's right.
pick, because
Yeah.
you're not going to get support from what I've heard. Deal with facts and evidence. I'm not hearing it. You're not hyperbole.
Right, because that's all
All
there
the
is.
purists are ills without any facts, any evidence, anecdotes. So again, before we want to proceed any further than this, I suggest bring that up to the commissioners and we'll have the talk.
Yeah, we will. We absolutely will. It's just it's still unfolding, developing, and we're still getting information on it.
And by the way, if you want to look at the EDD, if you want to look at the EDA, you want to look at the Department of Commerce, the whole point of that federal money was for job creation, the infrastructure that supports job creation. So if you're going to identify a priority for jobs, then you identify that for me. Take the data and tell me what you're going to improve in business. That's all. Facts and evidence.
It's gonna depend on the terms of the grants and everything that's available.
Well, supposedly these grants are already out there. Should be a plethora of examples of what other counties have done. I like to see those. I like to see the benefit they had on jobs. What kind of jobs? Didn't know we had a job crisis. Last numbers I saw, more than Marcus, the economist, we were doing pretty good on the wage categories, but hey, that's just evidence. So don't. So again, before we do this, I think you better have that discussion and deal with facts and evidence.
Yep, we plan on it. And we don't really have a jobs problem, but we do have
You have a what?
a workforce problem. A workforce,
Different discussion.
yeah, but it's all part of it and it's all gonna be discussed and it's going forward.
Wasn't this brought up by the previous commissioner? This through
This is a new region,
In 2024,
Yeah.
That one, okay.
totally
in
different.
2024, the EDD concept was briefed to the commissioners. That's Owen, that's Monroe County, that was Brown County. It was pitched. I've got a post on it if you want.
Oh, you're talking about the same project we're talking about, not a different project.
The Economic Development District, that's what.
Yeah, we
referring to.
started these discussions. It seems, gosh, it has been a couple of years. We've been talking about this. Yeah, we're beginning at 26. Yeah, it was 24.
I've got the audio of the meeting.
We
There
started,
was no support at the council at the time. There was no support at the commissioners at the time. It died until you brought it up.
no, it is not. It's the same project we're talking about now. We've been talking about it and working through it since that time. So if you're,
You may have.
if you're referring to the same project we're talking about today,
Economic Development District linked to the Department of Commerce.
Yeah,
the
3
Economic
counties.
Development Agency.
Yeah.
It's linked to job creation, the infrastructure that
Yeah.
supports job creation. Let me see the business case.
yeah, the council's been talking about it. The
The council-
CPC has been talking about it. We've had presenters and multiple workshops and work sessions from the,
You had 2 or 3. We had the speaker from Owens County back in 2024. I've got the audio. Nothing's changed.
yeah,
since
we
then.
were here, we heard that, we participated in that, the council did, and here's where we are, so.
So let me ask a question. Is this actually open up a new venue for money to flow into the area? Is that what the purpose of it would be? Is my impression?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Okay, I talked with Antoine Neff, who is on the council in Owen County. He was the president of the IAC or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I talked to him Tuesday at the conference and he's still open to it. They have their concerns as we do about
Yeah.
Wilmington being a bigger influence, but we both seem to say that, well, it's worth exploring.
Mm.
So explore, maybe.
It's an idea that was never killed off. It was just put on the back
There was no
burner
interest in
for
it.
more
There was no
information.
interest, Ken.
Huh?
There was no interest.
Well, there was interest, but there were questions that
Didn't
needed to
even
be
get
answered.
letter signed.
Right.
There was a letter, there wasn't even a letter signed that went forward. That kind of indicates what the interest time was.
Wasn't interest, there was interest in more information on it for clarity.
Yeah.
And that's
Never
that's
on our agenda in 2025, never. Never discussed.
So you don't think pursuing some additional opportunity?
Don't know what you're after. Don't know which program you're after, don't know what your goals are, don't know what your priorities are, don't know what the deliverables were from other counties that did this.
Yeah,
that's what Scott's gonna work on for the update for the next meeting.
I'm just hearing fluff.
that's, Tim,
He's
what
pointing
you're.
it is.
Yeah, what you're referring to, what you're wanting is what will occur moving forward if we actually look into what kinds of things would we invest in. That's the next step, is to determine those kind of things. Now, we may get to the end of it and say, we don't need money for roads. Nobody wants any more jobs. We don't need any infrastructure improvements or anything. But if we get to that point, we'll get to that point. But I think it's public engagement that would get us to that point, and that's what would happen, is public engagement, stakeholder engagement. Hey, what kind of areas would we want to address? And if it's none, it's none, and then we're
We've got all
done.
the buzzwords,
But
Scott.
yeah.
Let's just get to the facts of it. That's what
Yeah,
we're looking
that's
for.
where we're headed.
That's what we're working on.
Yeah.
The
I've
facts.
seen it.
Yeah.
Okay, you can't talk in depth. Numbers are down.
That's what we've got our updates for.
Yeah.
In the next meeting and the meeting after that, if we don't have sufficient updates. Any more questions or comments? All right, we have our commissioner's budget changes. Teresa?
Teresa, I just refreshed the meeting we had with Julia and Garrett.
Didn't take the notes in our meeting, discussed it with the auditor, so I was counting on you, so I'm kind of lost to what questions you have.
It's just a matter of actually approving what they've already talked to us about.
Right.
Many times.
Right.
Making the changes, transfers.
Okay, to summarize, I guess what we have is the total in your 102 line, professional legal. You are asking to have 51,000 total moved.
No,
Yes, that's what we got on the list.
because that our, okay, so we And you asked for 30, you gave us 4.
Right.
We asked the request of 26.
Right.
Due to the itemized items on your sheet is where the additional 25 comes in. But for a total of 51.
Guys, that issue, that potential there was discussed in an executive session between, I was here as the commissioner rep and the council. Discuss that potential.
This has all been.
Well,
discussed
this is,
before.
this is clarifying it to make it happen today.
Thank
So
you.
that's what we're here for. At our last meeting, we just didn't have anything in front of us to look at. And I don't want to vote on something that we don't have in front of us to look at. So this is clarifying to make sure we've got everything right and we're gonna get it resolved for you today. That's the point.
Thank
The 31005 attorney retainer, you asked for 48,000, we approved 40. Yep, so that's good. Never mind. I don't know why that-
Professional services, 3,500. We asked for 67. You approved 27. Again, the explanation for that is in the bullet points on this. And for a total of 60,000. There's an additional 20 there for a total of 60.
We approved 27. We requested 40, so that would make it 67. Addition of 20,000,
Correct.
so that would make that total 80,000, 87,000. Okay, and 38,800 professional HR services. You asked for 9,000. 2,000 was approved. You're requesting 7,000 to be put back in, additional 2,000 for a total of 9,000. That cover everything.
I believe so. I presented a lot to you guys.
Okay.
About our other funds, so, yes.
This is just one fund. It didn't cover the corner office and that.
So this isn't the presentation about the corner of the office and the things that came into 1138. This is just the general fund.
Okay.
And my question to you is, how is this happening? Because would this be considered an additional appropriation? Is this something that has to be posted in the paper? What is our next step? Are you voting individually on these?
Additional appropriations do not no longer have to go to the paper. Wait. Have anything to do with the paper anymore.
And that was posted. That was,
That's a state thing now.
It was posted in our conference this weekend too. I do recall seeing that.
has it been advertised to Gateway? It was for our last meeting. wasn't
For transfers, no, because we were talking about transferring monies out of one fund and fixing the other funds. So you don't have to actually post transfers. It's additional appropriations that you have to transfer.
But this is an addition. There's addition.
The additionals I'm seeing now would have to be put into Gateway, yes.
And it hasn't been yet. Okay. I guess at this point, we vote to approve it.
Then we put it
Then
into
we'll put it into Gateway, and then at our next regular meeting.
Anybody have any questions on?
So what's the total now? We changed one of the lines from 60 to 87. What's the total?
Right there.
No, it's more.
Well, the 87 isn't what we're funding. We're funding 60 of the 87. 27's already been.
So it's still 120. There was just a,
Total for those 3 items, yeah.
So, because there's an additional,
Yeah.
Oh,
this is
the
very
additional-
confusing to me.
yeah, I'm not sure.
the additional is still 47,000. But what was approved was 27,000 instead of 20,000 on professional services. So there was a 7,000 that was missing from the total on this page. So if you go over to your total, the total would be 127,000.
See that? No. 67, they asked 60s.
Still set when we got the meeting in here, it's that right there, and we're in here for 3 hours, was
Exactly.
$73,000. That we did not approve for our budget.
For her appropriations were correct. I don't know where you got this stuff, but this.
Yeah, who provided this?
I got it from Teresa.
You got it
I
from
gave you the
Teresa?
spreadsheet. This is the spreadsheet that I passed out to all of you when we sat in here for 3 hours.
So commissioners gave us this and it's accurate, Teresa, or no?
Yes,
So 100,
accurate numbers. We requested 73,000. In the interim of that meeting in January or December, additional things have happened legally. So, which is itemized for you vaguely. And that is where the additional column comes in for a grand total of 120,000.
The additional color.
So the additional part, I would feel like would not be a transfer, it would be an additional appropriation.
Yeah, the additionals would be additional preparations,
There's a total,
but the requested would be transfers, right? Am I correct?
the total request for the previous
73,000
plus the
would be
additional. You got
transfers.
73,000 is the request. 47,000 total is the addition.
So 73,000 would be transfers, and then the 47,000 would be additionals.
Right. And I was looking back at the professional services line, adding 47,000 was approved. That should have been a figure. So yes, 120,000 is what it is.
million that week. And that was our operating reserve. This is a part of that. This is different.
Economic development.
Pat was.
That our budget was moved around. This was in that number, but has nothing to do with your seven.
There's no legal service.
More professional services, and professional HR services.
This is just getting more and more.
120,000 today for the commissioners.
Are you there, Susan?
She's there.
We're having a couple.
Yeah, I did not hear the last about 3 minutes of conversation. So what I have in my notes is that the commissioners need an additional appropriation of approximately $120,000 in those 3 different lines.
Yeah, professional legal services, professional services, and professional HR services are what they're asking for additional.
Yeah.
Is there a different category? That's what this says.
The request was the 73,000 to begin with. That was transfers out of the 2,600 funds to shore up those funds. The additionals would be the 47,000.
In those categories I just read, right? And that's where it's going, or where you're.
But the additionals are different than the transferring.
Right. Generally, those are the services.
You're gonna appropriate the 4,700.
So today, Susan, can we approve the request for the transfers? And then, approve the additionals at our next Monday meeting?
Are the transfers, tell me what they're from? Are they from different funds or are they from different major budget classifications?
From the general fund in their budget. and it's the 2,600 fund, and they would use the money that's there to shore up the funds that were taken away from them, taken away from these funds.
So you're saying the transfers just make them whole for what they originally requested, then we appropriate more for the
For the 47,
Additional
yeah.
47,000,
Correct.
do an additional
To
appropriation.
me, because I never understood what Jackie was saying, 'cause she said if we did the transfers, it would be a lot easier, which I get that part.
Mhm.
What I don't get is historically, I thought that if we were moving money from fund to fund, we had to have permission from the council.
You do have to have permission from the council to do transfers, but you don't have to advertise it or put it into Gateway.
Right.
Additional or appropriations, you have to actually add to Gateway. So there's a big difference here
Right.
in the two things.
So you do have to approve it all.
Yeah, you have to approve it all, but you don't have to.
Yeah.
But what we can do today, Susan, is we can approve the request for the 73,000 in transfers and advertise to Gateway and do the additional appropriation for 47,000 at our next Monday meeting.
Yeah.
47, well, it's gonna be appropriated, yeah.
So I think you can give your intent to do those things, right? Your additional appropriation is an appropriation. Julie will have to put that into Gateway, and yes, you do that at your next regular meeting. The transfer typically is done by a resolution. So you can give your intent to do that today, and then we can have the resolution prepared for your next Monday meeting as well.
Okay, so my next question to that is, there were several items, several funds that this happened to. We presented all that information to you. Where are you guys with all of that information? I've heard nothing back on any of that request. So am I continuing to pursue this, or I don't, you gotta tell me what to do here.
Yes, if it's something we need to do and we can't do it without knowing what we're doing.
Okay, but
You're
I
not
can do
overstepping,
that.
you're not overstepping. I want, like I said, I want this resolved.
Okay,
That's what we're doing. I have full
so when do
intention of.
you wanna bring that up? Because I've been told that I come to you guys and I bring you a whole plethora of stuff and it's too much. So now I'm asking you, how do you want this to, do I need to represent this again for 1138? Would that be the best for you guys? Does it need to be dropped? Do I need to walk away? Do we just need to let the cards fall where they may in this year's
It's a
budget?
two-step process. So we got the transfers, the others, the new appropriation were done. You're gonna vote on that next meeting, right?
Correct.
The transfers you do now, the new appropriation you advertise, you're approved to next meeting. And are we done finally with the commissioners?
You're done with the 1,000, the general fund.
For this fund, right?
Yeah,
not for
and then we have to go to the 1138 and do the whole thing over again.
We'll know where we're at.
That's where we're at.
I guess I'm requesting a vote then for what's presented on the sheet.
Do we have a motion? Okay, what we're looking for is at our next meeting, a resolution to do the transfer of 73,000 to make them whole on their request. And an additional appropriation of 47,000 for the additional request that they have to make these lines good.
I'll move if we do that.
Do what?
Trans-
Do I have a second? All in favor? Yes.
No.
The camera keeps just turning itself off, so.
Is that advertisement for the owl system?
That is their advertisement. Of course, it's not a good one because it's resetting itself.
And I do not have the paper on.
So do I need to make a formal request to dive back into 1138 with you guys at another time? What do you want me to do here?
What is the total amount on that? Do you have it in front of you?
Sir, I have slept a lot since then and have learned a lot since then.
Are they not transfers? Or they're just to them now?
At this point, I don't. I'm so confused. I don't know. Okay, I'll
Okay.
forget, yeah.
Okay. The budget, do we have any discussion on appointments?
We got already the applicant, one for two positions. Mr. President, you want me to go into that one?
Oh, sure.
Seriously.
Don't know if you brought your appointment list, but we had two positions on the redevelopment commission for the county that are open. One applicant spoke to the council and read his letter to us at the last meeting. His name is James Norris. He is current vice president of supporting helping veterans and families organization. He has 35 years of military service. He would welcome the opportunity to bring this experience for some important work at the Redevelopment Commission for Brown County. I'm just reading a little bit off this letter here. If selected, I approach the responsibilities of this position with dedication, transparency, and a strong commitment to the residents of Brown County. Be honored to assist the council and redevelopment commission in advancing initiatives that support sustainable economic growth and long-term community well-being. Looking at his resume, it's quite impressive for the Indiana National Guard, U.S. Army National Guard. He was Senior Director of Human Resources. Roles. He's had active duty, have a master's degree and a bachelor's degree. Seems like a qualified candidate that would be, if anybody just looked at this, you've seen it before. He seems like a, very good candidate, local residentially. County in Jackson Township. And in him serving.
We re-advertised for the RDC tonight.
Yes.
Have we haven't heard anything?
Nope.
No, David Kuki, who was our previous appointee, didn't reply again.
Yeah, I ran into him a while back and he said his original interest, if you may recall, was in
somewhere else.
in a utility type of space. I think he has ended up on that committee, utility committee, and just kind of that's where he really wanted to be, and he did not reply. I think because of that is what I recall him saying. So,
so we have two openings, so one candidate.
yeah. So that if you move this forward, if you
Then we could make this appointment and continue to advertise.
so moved.
So second.
Motion second. Roll call. Yeah, roll call.
Aaron,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Gary,
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes.
Joel,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Then the only other appointments we did not make was CDC.
In a library, we had a person, maybe. Julie, are we correct in still thinking we need to appoint as a council a person to the library board?
I need to bring up my sheets because
We were presenting a couple candidates in the last meeting and.
I know Dan was one of them, but I think they appointed Dan yesterday.
Did you? Oh,
Yeah.
good,
Yeah.
okay. And then so Tim Kelly is the other one, and if the council in fact has an appointment responsibility there, he's an existing board member and would be good to,
Just
for us to appoint it.
put him in back in.
Accept the motion.
I move we appoint Tim Kelly to stay on the public library board. 4-year term. No. He's interested in serving. He's done some really good work to oversee building projects for the library and save costs on that activity and maintenance. And he was a part of the solar project and showed me some electrical utility costs that the library has been able to save significantly. It's like $20,000 a year in electrical costs because of this. He's a very skilled building person. Just think he's served really outstanding. So moved,
Hey.
seconded.
You might want to wait till we find out if you actually do have a library candidate to vote for.
Okay.
Let me see that for sure. I talked to Sandy. Hey, can you check to see if the council has a library appointment? Thank you.
We already reappointed you, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And in the library deal, was that the gentleman you're speaking of that was in a library meeting that evening?
Yeah.
Yeah. Was interested, had his letter in, but could not attend.
Yeah.
So you held up on that.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
According to the list off.
Yes, you do, and you appointed Tim Kelly last year,
Okay, I move we appoint Tim
or
Kelly.
you appointed him the last time.
Oh, last time.
I move we reappoint Tim Kelly to the library board.
Thank you.
Second.
Okay.
Roll call.
Darren,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Gary,
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes.
Joel,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Okay, we'll move on.
Any discussion on our CDC appointments?
Yeah, if you'd like, I can kind of give a summary of kind of my thoughts on it, or just go around the table. How do you want to do that?
Anybody's thoughts on it?
Yeah, I mean, from my perspective, we have 7 candidates. They all do the job. They've all got experience in the utility space. They're all interested in helping with responsibilities at the CNC, which is the growth of the and investment of innkeeper dollars and land that's prescribed. You know, we're kind of at a transitional time with the CDC because we have this additional 3% innkeeper's tax, and it's being handled in a way that's new for the county. And that new way is intended to benefit local.
So, you know, through that filter, you know, if you look at the candidates, you know, and all 7 can do the job, but there are there's 4 that I think would exceptionally well in this case under these circumstances. Oh yeah, I mean those are. Oh, Joel. Yeah, I mean, I really think.
I have some next too.
Do you? Yeah, go ahead.
Well,
Why don't you? Yeah.
You know, I just had, some, Kevin.
Yeah.
And Andy.
Yeah.
And can't pronounce her last name. Andrea, maybe?
Andrea.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those were 3 names I had just down. Did you have others?
Jim Schultz would
Jim
be
Schultz is
another.
on- Jim Schultz is currently on there.
Yeah.
He's pretty strong for it. He's involved.
So they're
in
all
it.
qualified
Yeah,
then, right? It's just a matter of how many we picked?
3.
3.
Would you want to take them one by one, Mr.
Yeah.
President?
Yeah, we can do that.
I move we appoint Kevin Alt and Jim Schultz.
You're doing.
Oh, is that 2? Oh,
You're
okay.
doing 2.
I move we appoint Kevin Alt.
Motion,
Second.
motion to second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Nay.
I'm doing it.
I didn't even look.
No, you do a roll call, please.
Yep, Darren,
Yes,
Yes.
Gary,
Yes.
Patrick,
No.
Joel,
Yes.
Jim.
Yes.
Move we appoint Andy Bartels.
motion,
I second.
motion to second. All in favor?
Darren,
Yes,
Yes.
Gary,
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes.
Joel,
Yes.
Jim.
Yes.
Just take another motion.
yes,
I move we appoint Jim Schultz.
second. I'll second. The motion is second.
Okay. Darren,
Yes,
Yes.
Gary,
Yes.
Patrick,
No.
Jim,
Yes.
Joel,
Yes.
that covers them all, right?
so that's 3.
3.
Okay, all of our appointments.
So to the vote, there were, as I said, all 7 candidates were,
It was a.
it was an
a
outstanding.
Very good batch to choose
Yeah.
from, and I encourage them.
Yeah.
To apply next time. We have, so we have a very good batch of applicants for this, so.
Mhm. And then, I mean, the other thing is we need another RDC member. So if anybody out of those additional 4 is interested in the RDC, we need a spot to fill there. Is there another spot we have? Is that it? I think that's it. Yeah.
Part of this was premised on that some people are now involved in newer ventures that weren't there a year ago. So we get broader participation apparently in this process.
Yeah, there's some overlap in boards and want more people, not less people. So. We had discussion on our meeting structure, but I'm gonna push that to the end because we have other stuff to deal with. Continuing with our financial advisor, as Reedy, we have any thoughts or discussions on that?
I do. I think they've done a good job. I think that if there's any controversy with them, it's been over the fact that it comes from us, the council. That's where it comes from. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, that's where there was, last year there was a lack of communication, process that wasn't well defined. And for this year, they have our information, they have structure for us. Pretty much plugging in our numbers with what they've already built for us. I would hate to throw that away because last year was a bad year, not necessarily their fault. Going forward, they're going to be more specifically involved, less involved overall. There's some things that, you know, we don't necessarily need a monthly update from them. That was an additional cost that, unless anybody objects, it's something that I don't think we need. We don't need to spend money on.
We were gonna get it from Julie.
Yeah, I was gonna get that directly from Julie, who's gonna be working with Jackie.
Okay.
And it was kind of a redundancy that we didn't need to pay extra for. And I don't think we need to pay extra for this year unless we get to a point where we need to. And so we'll play that by ear as long as everybody we have consensus on going forward with Reedy.
So in the mix, how's Jackie fit in? Have we decided?
They're really two different approaches.
She's the one where it all rubber meets the road. She knows how it has to fit in there.
Yeah, we get information from Jackie that we
So
won't
you
get
got
from Reedy, and we get information from Reedy that we won't get from Jackie, so.
That is also correct.
Did you check with her? She's willing to be around this year or whatever, involved?
Yeah, we've already talked about it.
Okay. Just want to make sure.
And are you okay with Reedy based on discussions with?
I really won't have a lot to do with it.
Right, and that's going forward, Reedy is not going to be, Reedy's gonna leave the auditor's office alone. And Reedy's just going to be our financial advisor and working with us only,
Should we need them?
should we need them.
That's the premise.
And we will, as we get into the budget process, we're gonna put together some numbers for us, and we're gonna get numbers from Jackie from the auditor's office. So that's the question, that's the question, what's everybody's thought on keeping Reedy for this year? In a much more limited capacity.
Yeah, speaking of limited, let's review a new contract from them
Mhm.
that limits, it needs to have a ceiling and detail what we.
Well-defined objectives
yeah.
and limits
Yeah.
and expectations.
Yep. Maybe we can review that at our next meeting, before our next meeting,
The
and,
basis of the contract is pay as you go.
I mean, that's the question.
There's no,
Yeah,
there's no retainer, I believe.
I don't think it's a
No.
retainer. I think it's probably usually, caps at, 20, 30,000, and they're doing budget development work, advising the council through
Yeah,
that.
that's what we did
typically how
last
it
year,
works.
but we didn't have any guardrails
Yeah,
or
right.
trails or specifications for them to follow on last year. It was pretty much wide open. So that would be part of the stipulation of going forward this year with them.
So that's Reedy you're talking about.
But we want to try to work on a contract with them for our next
Pay as you
regular
go.
meeting.
Pay as you go with stipulations.
He's starting over somebody else.
Yeah, that's, I don't wanna, I'm not anxious to start over with somebody else at the moment.
Speaking of starting over someone else, there is Gary and Darren and I were at a legislative conference this week and with Association of Indiana Counties, there is a new bill that would require us to rebid those financial services every 2 years, which, you know, it makes sense. I mean, every year is probably a little much, but every couple of years is a good time just to take a look. There's several qualified firms, so we'll see if it passes, but next year we may need to reopen that up.
Yeah, we'll probably have to revisit it. If that passes, we'll have to revisit next year anyway. Everybody good on that?
Yep.
Anybody opposed?
No.
All right. We'll have Reedy for our next meeting with a contractor. An agreement.
Oh, yeah, you also mentioned in your statement, you no more financials. Committee.
Yeah, financial committee. Yes. Did we officially disband it?
Well, that's what I want to clarify, if that's necessary, or what do we do?
What's everybody's thought on the financial committee? My opinion is we don't need it. We're a body of 7. There's no reason for 7 of us to break down into a group of 3 to take care of what we all should be taking care of anyway. And a committee just leaves 4 people out of it. Then the committee has to come back and update the other 4, going over the same material with the same expense if Reedy's involved as we spent with 3 people. I think the financial committee, though the one benefit is that it brought in the commissioner, but we can, if we decide, I suppose, we could make the financial committee the entire board plus the commissioner, if that's the way we want to go ahead with it.
Well, we'd like to work closer with the commissioners, wouldn't we?
I think we need to. They're a significant part of our, we
Yeah.
need to know what they're doing. They need to know what we're doing. So. One thought is part of our work session meeting would be the entire board, the entire council being the financial committee, bringing a commissioner in to discuss any issues that need to be discussed as we would have in the financial committee.
I think we make our work session the place where the number one on the item on the agenda is always our budget work as a council. And that is the first thing we do. It's the most important thing we do. And only if we have time for additional things do we get past that budget item. So every meeting.
Well, there's always going to be
Make sure that's
important things to
addressed.
discuss along with the budget. So we
Yeah.
can't say nothing. If the budget takes the whole time, we don't discuss anything
Right.
else. There are other things that are going to have to be discussed.
But the budget should come first.
Yeah, the budget has
They're most
priority,
important.
especially coming up to the budget process
Yep.
this year.
So in those work sessions, we get dragged into all different kinds of discussions that may or may not be critical, urgent, or timely, but we know the budget is something that is top priority for the council and should be on that agenda, in my opinion, first at every one of those meetings, that we resolve any necessary items in that and discuss those items. So
Would the commissioner's office be willing to do that without a committee? Just come into our work sessions and be ready to discuss the budget and budget items?
Yes, the missing piece has always been, give me the 1 page on the status of our budget. That's it. You know, what are your goals? What are your projections over time? What are your strategies for addressing different issues? It's a 1 or 2 page. Okay, I don't know why it's damn difficult to get that through, but if we can get that 1 page concept to say, are we on target or off target? It's as simple as that. That's a question you need to answer. That's what I was hoping that Finance Committee would have done last year. I presented that at our February commissioner meeting and said, hey, here's what we're doing and here's where we're going forward, then boom, it dies. So if we can reinvigorate that, if I got a monthly report I can brief at my meeting, that's what we'll do. So yes, more than support for that.
yeah, in terms of monthly reports, I mean, that's the other thing, it'd be a great thing to do really every meeting, but at that work session, reviewing that monthly report of, overdrawn accounts,
And that's the information we're gonna get from you, right?
a fund report. I went through this with Reedy a couple times. We still have not seen those reports every month. Fund report and a couple others that we need to be reviewing.
Well,
Really,
that's
every
that's what we're dropping from Reedy, and we're gonna get that directly from Julie. So there's no reason for Reedy to.
Yeah, I don't care who does it,
To provide that
but-
to us when Julie's got it.
somebody's got to do it, because we just
I
haven't seen it.
think you should know that we, all the offices are now going to have LAO. So they will be able to check on their own funds to make sure that they don't get in the red. So that they can come in for additional appropriations, things to that effect.
Yeah, I'm glad we're putting that into play. And so Julie, you're going to bring us those 4 monthly reports at every work session, and we can count on that. We don't need to hire Reedy to do that. Lao should have those reports built in, right? There's
They
basic,
have reports built in.
basic reports. Great. Is that what you were?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Julie, can you add as to the LAO, because he's working with us on the internal control program for the county? And only, and
It'll have to be here, this building.
that he can access it here
Okay.
when he's in the building. That
You
works.
cannot access it outside of the building or take it with him.
That's fine.
Eric, are you okay with that?
Yeah,
Okay, good,
Absolutely.
good. Thank you for doing that. You mind,
need a term for him?
Yeah.
You can do that today, hopefully?
Yeah.
Ed, do you mind telling the council kind of what your work looks like there? It'd be helpful to, I think, appreciate what's going on there. Yeah.
So, should I stand up there?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Come on up.
please do.
Tell us your name.
We've got you on the budget next after the budget process, but since this is all fine and we'll move, go ahead and move you up now. So go ahead.
Really, internal controls and then budget.
Yeah. Yeah. So what you're talking will flow into the budget process. So then,
Later, today, tomorrow, all the councilors and commissioners are gonna receive 2 documents. The first document is a review of internal controls, and the second document is John?
Are you on?
yes, it's on.
Too, if you're on or not.
It's on.
There you go.
I can hear it.
Yeah.
I get it. Okay, you'll receive 2 documents. They're both Word. I'm sorry, not Word, they're both Excel. If you need any help with Excel, just give me a call. The first document is a 12-year review of all of our supplemental audits. Okay, and I'll make a point here. Everything I'm looking at is public information. So any of you can look back. I have also added the links. So if you want to go back and look at every single audit Brown County's ever had, any entity, you can go look at that. But the reason I did internal control, the reason I reviewed the audit is to get a feel for where we have control weaknesses. And quite frankly, there's a lot. And the other piece, so what I did was I did a matrix. It's not necessarily inclusive of all of our control weaknesses. Okay, but it's ones that as I went through and I said, okay, this is a good example. Don't listen to me. You can look at what the state said. When they have a finding, and it's really informative. Plus, there's a internal control document out there. I know Darren has one, but it's not the most fun reading. So the first thing you'll have out there is a review of internal controls. So after I did that, I got a good feel for what cycles we needed to address. It's all, but it will help us in the budget process. So there's basically a 5-month, there's a 5-month Gantt chart scheduling out each of the set of things that we need to work on. I wanted to make sure that Julie was informed before I told anybody else. So that 5-month Gantt chart gets us addressing the controls. And I'll periodically update you. If you want me to do a meeting, that's fine. If you want me to do a meeting, that's fine. But I think you need to understand as I read through this stuff, what I'm looking at and what I'm seeing. The second is a Gantt chart that flows, a Gantt chart that covers the controls, and it then takes in May and it takes off on the budget process. One of the big concerns that I have is that as we change auditors, whoever that be, right, you don't start from scratch. You don't start with the problems that nobody's gonna tell you are there until you get that. So the budget process, Brady had a document that I had access to that was specifically about the proposal for the timing of the budget for Brown County, and I also went into the state. And, the documents I pulled, I pulled this pretty much a timeline from the state, and I put the two together, and I sort of saw the three pieces. That's Brady, the state, and that's us. And as the budget process progresses, want to make sure you hit it pieces. One of the biggest difficulties I think you had was whenever one starts a budget, one does payrolls and salaries first before that. So we put that at the end, which caused a lot of redo work, right? So you need to really push that up. And the last thing I would say is just for information, I'll give you information on this. Gateway is easily accessible. The formats aren't always the best, but for example, you can look at salaries for counties around us, counties near us. You can look at 5 years of our salaries. You can look at our head count. You can look at Switzerland County head count. I mean, you really can do a lot of comparative work. And so in the budget, in the initial, I've already done some of it. I know how to do it. I'll share with you how many people in each department is in surrounding counties and how many people in each department in counties of our size. So we just try to continue to send the information. And as the budget kickoffs, I'm going to say that we probably should kick the budget off sometime in May when information is available. So I don't know if there's any other questions you have on this. I know this is it's a huge endeavor. We're talking once you see the first document, you'll go overboard, which is what I did. I first looked at the most recent one and I thought, oh wow, and then I looked back a number of years and I said, oh my. You know, I went all the way back to 2012 and I said, you know, this is not a 2 versus 3. It's really a systemic failure.
So Ed, to that point, you've got with the internal controls, policies and financial planning and things that are, you know, that need improvement. It's multiple departments, multiple elected officials, multiple entities. And so it's kind of comprehensive of many, right?
Well, for example, one of the cycles is the disbursement cycle, right? Involves everybody. Payroll cycle involves everybody. And you know, you start the route with what's the policy and then check the policy against recent practice. So I hope I'm following your line.
Yeah, I mean, to make these improvements that you're basically just summarizing for us out of these audits, it's going to take kind of the whole team, right?
Oh, yeah.
To implement and no one entity can implement all these improvements. It's going to take multiple departments and elected officials and agencies, you know, folks within our county with additional help to kind of make all of those changes.
Yeah,
Right?
we talked about, actually the idea came up yesterday about possibly bringing some additional help in and some financial expertise. Now, again, this could very easily spiral out of control. And we don't want that to happen. We want it to be nice and keep everything informed. And of course, you're the central person that we have to keep informed. And we have to pull that. So it's going to take a lot. And doable, it's very doable. But it's something that if we don't do it now, every council and every auditor and every treasurer is going to have to go back and relearn everything. Once you put in a control plan and control policies, right? Obviously you can change them, but you know, for now, this is how we do things. Right? You don't like that, going, you know, before the bodies, you guys would be primarily the body on the change. Yeah, go before the commissioners to change it. If not, this is how we do payroll policy, no exception. Right now, problem is we're all humans and things change, but there is a change mechanism. It's not a I don't like that, go change it, because that causes chaos. That's kind of what we had.
And a lot of these changes that you're referring to that are going to be kind of require everyone's participation are also going to assist with bolstering our credit rating.
Yep.
Which they cite the State Board of Accounts issues, lack of asset management plan and a financial policy as deficiencies. And so, we're kind of killing two birds with one stone there. But again, it's kind of the whole team. It's not, we can't do it alone as a council, commissioners can't do it alone, elected officials can't do it alone, but it's going to take kind of the whole group.
I've been struggling with the structure of government versus the corporate world that I've lived in. And so in the corporate world that I lived in, there is a controller. Okay, and that controller is somewhat considered that position. But yet that controller doesn't have the authority that a controller in industry does. So a lot of what I did, and I had a good time doing it. A lot of what I did was go into a facility that was struggling, do what I've already done, take a look at the evidence and say, here's a plan. Then I would back off, and then management would say, can they do it? Can they fix it themselves? What help do we need to give them? Or they would say, we need to get control. Or they would say, we need a new CFO. Right? So it would become a rather quick change. It would become a cyclical change, right? But it wouldn't be one where you had to pull three organizations or three group, four control group, treasury. You got to work with four organizations. And so if we don't have a good, solid control plan, it'll get out of control again.
So then the other thing, I guess, final thing would be the work you're discussing is very valuable. Appreciate your work on that to get us kicked off in the right way here in the first part of the year. Is separate from really the kind of essential ongoing historical budgeting work that the council does, right? You're doing internal control and such, and you're working with kind of folding that into our budget process. But the budget process continues. We have a financial advisor that helps us with that. Ed is not, getting involved in department budgets and that sort of thing. He's simply trying to fold together internal controls and kind of a timeline, give us some guidance on how that works. So
And pull historical data.
right, yeah,
Yeah. I can make some conjectures about what I've looked at from the Brown County staffing point. 5 counties that are our size plus the 2 big ones, and it kind of makes sense to me. I don't think we're vacillating out of control in a lot of the budget areas. I just don't think we're aware of a good timing process to go through to make sure everybody's engaged.
The other thing I'd say, just out of our legislative conference yesterday, the County Council Association met towards the end of the day, and the cost of health insurance is astronomical to counties, and every county council person in that room's hair was on fire because of just the cost of providing that to county employees. And so one of the things, there's clearly energy in the council association for out of that conference is a new approach to securing health insurance at a much discounted rate. Governor Braun gave a presentation on Tuesday to the whole body and was pounding on the need for a new approach for healthcare for local government, which, if local government is going to reduce costs, it's almost impossible for us to do that on the public safety side. But in the healthcare space, we have a huge opportunity to do that in a way that is more economical for our taxpayers. And it appears there's a lot of interest in that at the council association. So I plan to be a part of leading that effort with our council association and look forward to finding new ways to make that work.
That is a huge area to look at. And as we start to put together the budget timeline, that needs to be a line item and it needs to be thoroughly looked at. Just to finish up, so far, everything I've done, I've taken maybe 2 hours of your time. Everything everything I've done is public information. And I don't know how familiar people are with the Indiana open door law. It really is surprisingly, transparent. Basically, if I walk into her office and I say, I want to see this receipt for this function, I want to see what the purchase order is. Unless she has a really good reason, she needs to. Right, and I'm gonna get that.
Yeah, there's almost nothing this council does that isn't fully public. I mean, I can't think of one thing right now. I mean,
So
that wouldn't be,
I
so,
think
yeah.
my concern is, you know, obviously I'm running for a position, but I'm just, right now, I'm just sitting doing what feels like.
This is way overdue.
Yeah.
Way overdue. This addresses a lot of your concerns too, Jim.
So and I encourage you, both those documents probably come up tomorrow.
You mentioned your skill set. Just give your people, yeah, real quick, yeah.
I started off with.
Here, hey, let me help you. You're a certified public accountant?
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's all we need to hear. Thank you. It's very helpful. Thank you.
On the internal control program, let me give you a little, over 30 years military and civil service. This thing started from the feds due to waste, fraud, abuse, and mismanagement. So when you read the headlines repeatedly and the GL reports repeatedly, the government finally put in federal regulation to create this internal control program. The states had to go along with it, kind of a watered down version for the states. I was doing the state program. They would turn out to so put the state focusing on the finances. Internal controls is the entire operation of the organization. It's to ensure the efficient and effective use of your tax dollars. So that's operational as well as finance. And we tend to focus in the state at the finance side, which is fine. But there's not a whole lot of enforcement arms. They leave it up to the county to do it. The repeat findings within the federal system would point you to change in personnel capabilities and competencies. So it's a little bigger. I think I was a finance auditor. I did my term as an auditor in Department of Defense and was a certified quality auditor. I think I did my first internal control review back in the early 90s. And I ended up my career, I was program manager of internal controls. Other duties assigned for a director within the Department of Defense. And so we went through every level of operations. So it's not only the finance side, it's the operationals, and it's also part of performance review. So we relooked at, are we right sized? Are we paying the right amount of money? Do we have the right enough people? Performance review is part of the process. And so when I checked in with the state officials and looked at how they were structured, interesting. There's no, from the State Board of Accounts, there is no county in Indiana that has a county level management internal control. And when I did a Google search nationwide, I didn't see any county level management internal control program. But within the federal system, every agency, within the military system, every agency, every department has a management internal control policy. So that's what we're going to do for the county. We'll have a county level policy outline. We'll start with an outline and start filling in the blanks, but you're looking at 5 to 10 years if we can sustain it. So it's not only finance, but it's operations. And yes, it include all our departments. Are we doing those things that are actually critical in order to meet our mission, prevent mission failure? That's everybody. Are we efficiently and effectively using our tax dollars? That's everybody. And so the one piece I think that's unique at the county level, we got involved as citizens in that because you had checks and balances in the federal system. You don't have it at a county level. It's really up to the voters. They're your management, you're reporting on these things. And my last thing, again, on the federal side, we had to do an annual report that each major department head had to sign off that they reviewed the internal controls, they had their flow charts, they had their checklist, they had their audits periodically throughout the year to validate. They had to sign a memo that said, yes, and yay, barely, we looked at internal controls and they're adequate or not adequate. Here's the problem. Here's how we're fixing it. That rolled up all the way up to the Secretary of Defense. So that's that work within that particular system. So we just can do a kind of a minor version of that. It's not as elaborate. It's a lot more simple. We'll start off this year with maybe 1 or 2 prototypes in a couple of areas, and then just build from there. Our challenge is to sustain it and get people that are dedicated to using the dollars the best that we can. So that's kind of where we're going. Again, one of the deliverables we'll have is a policy for internal control program. And I love the focus on the finance, because that's the repeat findings that for any auditor, you know, it's fingernails on a chalkboard. It's just, you
Yeah.
just don't get a repeat finding without repercussions. So we'll fix that. But it takes some time. It's a cultural change. Love to get the citizens involved. We can have a committee with citizens that are get involved and help us on that. We get students that'll help develop it. That'll be great. So that's where we're headed.
So let me add a little bit more, Scott.
One, one question on your part, and what is how do we then present ourselves from becoming as inefficient as the federal government?
Yeah, that's a
Very good.
Oh, and we're not inefficient. We want to talk about the budget
Oh,
process.
no, we are, but they're not doing the best job, and they put these in place, so how do we bypass that?
It kind of goes to one comment I was gonna say on Tim's, you know, the federal government, they have so much of an elaborate web of, we don't need anything that elaborate, you know, simple,
Right.
something simple, easy to follow.
So, one of the control cycles that most people don't think about when you're talking about finance controls is the management cycle. So as he said, there should be a regular set of, hey, on the second half of the year, we do a review of this, and we sign it off. Performance.
Accountability?
Yeah, and so just to be clear, I am inactive as a CPA because about 10 years ago, didn't need anymore. I was CMA, and I also have an ISO 9000 lead auditor. And I also was Six Sigma trained, and I spent time in the Toyota production system, getting trained in that system. So from an efficiency standpoint, the funniest story is I was in Japan. They always give you a nice go away dinner, and they said, "What do you think of us?" And I said, "Well, let's be honest, you know." I said, "Well, I used to work for a bunch of old farmers, and they never did anything they didn't need to do. They always did the things they did need to do. Everything they did was as simple as possible." And they kind of laughed, and I'm like, "Oh, geez, you know, I'm gonna have to run out of here." And they said, "No, look around. We're rice farmers. We just never forgot." And I think that's to your question, is a lot of these massive manufacturing companies that are extremely successful, they're an absolute pleasure because everything is clear and everything is simple.
Gosh.
That's the goal, is clarity.
Yeah.
What,
Simplicity.
what do we need to do? How do we need to do it? And what's the best way to get there?
I asked Doug yesterday, and I said, "So do you know about section 23.74765?" And he sort of looked at me like, "Okay, we don't use that language, you know, let's talk about what it really means and how it affects you." Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you.
We want to discuss, we were discussing our continuing with our financial advisor, and then we were gonna go into continuing with our legal advisor. Do you want to? The REIT discussion kind of evolved into our intermittent discussion. Do we want to discuss our legal advisor now or afterward?
Say after.
Okay, take it a 10 or so minute recess.
Easy.
Yeah, man. Gary sure didn't teach you how to use that, did he? Gary, you want to show him how to use that?
Yeah, come on, geez.
Making up for what I didn't do.
Okay, we gonna get back to our discussion with legal advisor. Susan has said she would be willing to step out of the meeting while we discuss this. Anybody's thoughts on that?
Yes, I think she does a pretty good job. The problem is, again, us.
Do we want Susan to stay
Yes.
for this discussion?
Well, I don't care either way. I mean, that's up to you and her.
This is how thick her skin is.
She's an attorney, it's probably pretty thick.
If she wishes to.
It looks like she stepped off camera.
Okay. But again, I feel as though, we've been, whatever issues there's been, we've been the issues. A lot of times, I've dealt with attorneys a lot in my career. A lot of times we just don't pay attention to them when we should. And I think we've done that with most of our professionals that we hire. We hire them when we really don't pay attention to them. If we don't like what they say, we discount them. If we don't like what they say, we find somebody who we might like what they say, even though it might not be the best advice, but she has the background, the understanding, and I have no loyalty or anything. But again, I just based that on 39 years working with attorneys. She seems open and above board and seems to do a good job.
Yeah, I agree. She's got a lot of experience. What if we kind of similar to the financial side of things, I think whether the bill passes that requires a 2-year kind of opening of our financial services or not, what if we just say, hey, every 2 years as a council, we relook at our financial and our legal services, kind of bid those as one, and just take a glance every couple of years. And so maybe give it 1 more year. I don't know. What do you think? And then relook.
I'm with it.
Sounds reasonable.
Now, I do think we should also review her contract and the way that is billed and what the cap is and what would trigger additional approval from the council, kind of standard types of things. So maybe we ask for an updated contract. And maybe the other thing is we, if I recall correctly, we pay for travel time, and maybe we ask for her to, in her new contract, propose maybe a more cost efficient way for her to participate in our meetings. It probably costs us a few $100 just for her to drive up here and back. And if there's a way for virtual participation in certain cases, maybe not others, maybe we ask her to say, hey, here's how I would recommend, and then we go from there and talk about it from there. But those are my thoughts.
Of course, virtual, I think that's okay sometimes. You know what I do early in the mornings because we've met before, but I interact with a lot of school teachers, and their biggest complaint is during virtual stuff all of the time because the kids don't learn anything. There are things that you miss when you do it virtual all the time, but I understand cost savings as well.
Yeah, I like the cost saving aspect of some virtual. I really like the approach, so a good mix of the two. I mean, we can do some stuff we can do virtually, some stuff I think we need to have physical presence.
And then the only other thing, and this is kind of a want, but it would be nice to have an alternate contact within her firm. If we have a need and she is in the hospital or on vacation, that we have a second person that can be responsive to our immediate needs, whatever that may be. Sometimes we get ourselves into timeline issues and we need a more timely kind of response if she's out of pocket. So maybe we ask her to suggest that as well in her contract.
I've been really impressed with her ability to answer our questions.
Yeah.
She obviously she didn't get in the book out. She's got it on top of her head. And I've been impressed with the way she can take some of the BS that we throw out. There's sometimes a lack of respect there, and I think that's a big deal on our part.
Yeah.
We need to clean that up.
Yeah.
Yes.
Especially among each other too.
Right.
Shut up, Joe.
Yeah.
What the time I'd have knocked you out of that chair.
I'm glad you're
Yeah.
controlling yourself.
I am.
This is a Marine talking to a, what are you, an Army guy? Or-
no.
Oh, yeah.
No, I was Army.
You were Army?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Marines were
Didn't mean to offend.
in the
offend you
service.
there.
just
No,
so you know.
No offense taken.
Any other points from council?
And she's got 20 years' experience. It does come quick to her.
Yeah.
It's helpful for us with our melee of things.
I mean,
Yep.
perhaps, I mean, if the council's okay with it, Darren and I work with Susan to kind of get her contract into place, kind of taking into consideration what we've just said that we think would be workable for the council, and then bring that back at our next council meeting and present it to you for discussion.
Do you think we should, I think we should include if there's an email trail for it, I think everybody should include it. So we all see the points, we all can have input and discussion on it.
I would say that, with my 80 years experience, you get what you pay for.
Right,
Just keep that in the back of your mind.
exactly.
So we need to pay her more money.
Could be.
That's why you're wealthy.
It's coming out of your pocket, not mine, big guy.
Teresa had her hand raised with a point of
Just
question.
To also say that Commissioner's Office, working with Susan, because some of our stuff does overlap from time to time, that she's been very easy to work with and thorough, and we appreciate her too. So just wanted to throw that in there.
All right, well, yes, there, I mean, we don't need 7 people working on it, but if you and I kind of, we can start email chain, if she wants to have a conversation, you can be included in the email chain. If you have input, please provide that, but I mean, it seems inefficient to ask all 7. I mean, it'd be a public meeting. If we want to have a phone call with all 7 people, just seems kind of inefficient, but if we did that, kind of gather your input, talk with Susan if she has questions, bring back a written contract for your review, each of you. You can draft it or, edit the next meeting. That seems to be a typical process, unless there's some kind of objection to that. Jim's looking at me kind of funny, but
He always looks funny.
is that it? Okay, yeah.
I have a question for the official or unofficial orders guide. Dwayne, do you have any input on all of us being on an email on that?
Great idea.
Okay.
Rather than maybe some meetings. The second one from when I worked at General Motors, one of our, an investor bought into our firm was EDS, Electronic Data Systems. That was H. Ross Perot.
Oh,
H. Ross Perot ran for president.
I did.
And when he bought into General Motors, he was put on the board of directors. And one of his opening statements was, he said, well, at EDS, or at General Motors, pardon me, he said, General Motors, when you see a snake, you form a committee on snakes. He said, at EDS, when we see a snake, we kill it. And if you take that into context, less meetings gets more done.
Yeah,
And
I absolutely agree.
The emailing, and then you guys got enough valuable time spent anyway.
All right, thank you. All right, is that what we want to do going forward?
Yep.
At this point, we are going to continue this year. Susan Beavers as our legal counsel.
Pending final contract review, obviously. Yeah.
Right, or go forward in the process of
Yeah.
finalizing a contract for this year. Okay. Just a quick point, IU, the Sustaining Hoosier Communities. They are moving forward with their program for it. And we have, yeah,
I've indicated to her that you guys are done.
Okay, thank you.
I don't know if she sees it or not, but.
okay, thank you. IU, the SHC has some listening sessions coming up, 12th of February at 6:30 at the Seasons Conference Center. is open to the public, looking for public input on the quality of life issues that we're dealing with, and it's a good program to help us identify some of the problems that we need, and it gets student programs involved in helping. It's a resource to us. What they're doing with their listening sessions is they're gathering public input to get a pulse of the residents of Brown County as to what direction they want to move and where we're going with it. So we have the first listening session, the 12th of February, 6:30 at the Seasons Conference Center. There is a second one, the 19th of February at 6:30 p.m. at Van Buren Elementary School. So I highly encourage everybody to participate in those.
My quality of life was doing really good till we got 2 foot of snow the other day. I tell you.
You just improved.
That's- Thank you, dear.
Okay, we just put off our meeting structure, correct?
You did.
Yep, okay. Any thoughts or discussions on that?
Could you maybe just in the interest of public understanding what you're talking about, maybe just give a quick summary or?
Bring Dwayne up to discuss that. You still have that? Are you still looking at it or?
Yeah, in back, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, kind of broadsided me there. We kind of agree, just for clarification to the, mainly to the public and on the way that the meetings are run. I'm speaking for we as the public, we're kind of lost or have been in the past. And I think with the new president and the new vice president and the new board and all, it'd be a good time to at least look at your procedure that you run your meetings on. And I'll be real brief. I didn't know if you worked under bylaws in the past. I'd heard from Diana Biddle years ago that somewhere in the archives, there was a set of bylaws, but nobody could find them. So I don't know,
Why?
sitting out here, I don't know how you operate. You use bylaws, you can use Robert's Rules of Order, which is archaic. It was built in 1890 something. But there's some very good points within it. Another thing is I looked around the room and I've never seen a mission statement. I've never seen it out of the commissioners. I've never seen it out of the council. I've never seen it out of anybody. Actually, what your true mission to us, the public, is, so that we can kind of work under that too. And then my last thing that I'll add, and Darren did hand me a 9-page or so document here.
It was fun.
Explaining quite a bit of this, but I think to make things easier for you guys in the future and commissioners and everybody, is that to define what order you do work under. And I know Darren had spoke that he wanted to use some of Robert's, some of Darren's rules of order, I guess you'd call it, somebody's other, but I think it needs to be defined as to what part of the Robert's rules we're going to use, if any, or that you're going to use, or what bylaws or something. It would help in the future so that you don't get caught up contradicting yourself. And also and the commissioners have been good about it, and you guys as well, as far as my appointee monthly meeting reports. I try to keep you guys informed of what my committee's doing. And I think that's about the only committee that I've heard that reports. You guys, and I speak to you and then you speak to the commissioners. You appoint, but then it doesn't seem like your appointees hold up their end of the agreement, in my estimation. That you appoint them and then next year you say, oh yeah, who was on that board? That's not good. And you should know who's on the board, because they should be presenting you their findings, whether, well, mine is monthly, some of them is quarterly, some of it's whatever. But I think you guys do a fine job of appointing and researching it, but then it's done till next year. And you don't know what, if I don't report, you don't have a clue what I'm doing. And I don't think that's fair to the board. I don't think it's fair to the appointees. That I think there should be some more continuity there. I think that you, the board should reach out to your appointees and, because we all have a president or whoever's in charge of that appointed board. And they should report back to you as needed. So that you can at least talk intelligently about what you've appointed. That's about all I got, but I'd like to read through this, Darren, and.
Okay.
And then define, you know, you said you were gonna use some of Robert's rule, you thought,
Kind of some of the points laid out in there on
but
the,
I think it needs to be, my estimation is, it needs to be laid out, we're using this, this, and this.
yeah, that's kind of what I did
Yeah, if
in
we're
that.
not gonna use the other 400 pages, just let us know what you are doing, and it would help your meetings flow better, I think.
And what he's talking about, the paper I gave him was the write-up that I sent to all of you also. So he's looking over that.
No, I get a copy of this if I could. And I think it'll help both of them, our major boards. I mean, you guys are our county. Whoa. Get excited, puts their arm around.
You want,
Anyway,
in the back
I'd
here.
like to see that out of the commissioners too.
Yeah.
If they could.
Can I just respond to one thing, regarding the mission statement? The mission of the county council is really by statute, and it's clear, and Joel was running in his flyer, one whole side listing every single point that what are the duties of the county council. And that was clear for me as
That was
mission.
good.
And that's from the state,
And that's good.
telling each county, and then you might still have a copy of that in your folder.
It'd be nice if it was on the meeting room wall.
But I mean, it's already established. They
Okay.
don't need to have another mission.
All
A
right,
mission
that's what's
is
not
by statute from the state of Indiana.
Is the commissioners the same way?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah,
The same.
Yeah, when you give a mission statement, and that's the foundation of the performance management missions and functions, and you link that to what's provided, the outputs, the number, the skills, knowledge, and ability you need to execute the mission, all that's performance management that says that's what you do. But when you look at the mission statement, you look at what's for the commissioners and the council, you've got the specified tasks, they call it specified things, but you also have them implied. What do you have to do in order to do that one? So it's much broader than just saying, hey, here's my 6 things. There's probably about 50 things that you have to do in order to support that big vision. Again, that's all part of performance management. We've got that on our to-do list.
So it will be posted somewhere for the public.
Sure. I mean, if you look at other counties, they've done a pretty good job by departments of identifying what it is they do, and they even identify the outputs, which is pretty nice. How many deeds did we do? How many assessments did we do? How many this, how many that? All those kind of outputs. So it's not like you were reinventing the wheel, just cherry pick some of these other counties who are doing a pretty good job and just copy that, so we can do that fairly quick. But that's each elected official, but yet have a culture from the county saying, hey, that's an expectation we want to give to our citizens. So yes, it's all it is.
The Association of Counties also have created so that we can put on our websites for our citizens what exactly comes out of each office and what the duties are and what's expected and timelines and things like that. So I wrote all that down so we can implement that too with these the citizens
Yeah,
to better help with some of this.
it would help in the clarity, I think.
Absolutely. And they did a couple of videos. Were you guys there when they did that? Did you see those videos? No?
Who did?
You guys, the council, it was just at the legislative conference this week. They brought this up. They showed the example of the videos that they created.
Wednesday.
Was that the Marine class on Tuesday?
Confused on,
Yeah, probably was.
how to present, orders and how to make amendments and amendments on the amendments and how to withdraw orders and.
And it would really help too with the property issues. It'll tell a citizen what office does what with property and where they need to go and what they can expect from that department. So it was pretty informative.
I guess that covers it. I'll get a copy. I got a copy.
I'll give you that website too.
Thank you.
Anybody else have anything? I mean, it's open forum.
I think it's a good idea.
Okay,
Oh, she had a,
Back to the budget.
They have their stuff.
okay,
Right.
yep,
Well, that's
We can get back.
great. You still want to do, I'm fine.
yeah,
with
no,
that.
yeah, I want to,
Okay.
I want to do this.
There's two different documents. I need one myself.
Yeah. There's two years.
I got two. Yeah. If I can
already did this a couple
of times. You get something that I got.
Oh.
Yeah. You got this one?
oh, we got two sheets now.
I told him.
I'm looking for you.
Okay, go. I don't know.
Yeah, we're missing that second
I need
sheet,
one.
Gary.
There.
Thank you, Jim. I gotta see someone's on top of this.
The same one like that.
If I can just memorize, don't you?
There you go.
Yeah, pretty much.
I guess.
Good enough.
Yeah.
These look different.
Two more people. Well, there are two different ones, right?
Yeah, there's two different ones.
We need to sign, this is the appointment of Wayne to the alcohol board. We need to sign. There's three lines here to do. Open the page, flip it over, and he's
When you run
put a
out.
couple more. On back.
Thank you.
Huh, what did my pen do? Did you steal my pen, Jim?
No, I didn't see your pen.
Plus, it's
medium point, that will.
No, it was a cheap one.
I don't carry.
I have
papers.
land
Can't
here.
erase them.
You can't erase it.
Somebody picked it up.
Yeah, I'm pretty particular with my pen.
Oh, here it is. I accused you falsely, Jim.
Well, all right.
Let the record know.
I'm used to that, so, yeah.
Well, I figured that, Jim.
Yeah.
I was just testing.
No,
What's that supposed to
no
mean?
surprise there, yeah.
Yeah, I was just testing you. He passed.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Oh, wait a minute.
Just sign it, Patrick.
Yeah, right here.
Oh, right.
Those three lines.
Yep.
Those three lines. Okay.
Did you bring us any free booze?
You guys are supposed to do that to me.
That's what he said.
Where's the Jim Beam?
Is this right or is it?
They're both two different things.
These are two different,
They're on 38. Are we ready?
just the same thing we got before.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me know.
We got time.
Let's put it on the calendar.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just stick it on the calendar.
It was approved.
Yeah. Or you want me to sign with your?
Oh,
I
I can use my pen.
didn't bring one, yeah.
Oh.
Or what do you want me to sign?
Right there.
The written.
Oh,
version
yeah,
in
okay,
there.
print. I got it.
Jim,
Right.
Jim Bob Kemp.
Is it Jim or James?
Neither. It's Jimmy.
Is it really?
So ignore the MMY.
Hey, don't feel bad. I'm
Jimmy Dean.
Jimmy Dean.
Yeah.
I wonder how that came about.
Mama screwing Jimmy Dean, the sausage guy.
There you go. She really,
I think I need to go have a DNA test because I think it's probably my mom.
you might be right.
What are we doing, kid?
I don't know.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I want my pen back.
you see it? Yeah, so flip it over.
Because you know why, Jim?
Okay.
It makes me have aberrant thoughts.
That's what?
Aberrant thoughts,
Aberrant.
aberrant.
Okay.
We already did this.
And that's today.
Mike's right hand.
Yeah. it's like-
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. Oh, it does have a mute. You can mute it.
sheet pertaining to 1138, which is our CNCAP fund. One of the good things that came out of the entertaining budget year that we had is that we were not utilizing CNCAP the way we could for the betterment of the county. Pretty Financial did point that out with Jim Kemp. So in transferring things that were in the budget to 1138 was a good move. However, again, our energy is lack communication, which you all are fixing up. We're moving forward. However, there were items in 1138 that were transferred that were not approved, that were critical to the county. One of those is the IT lease programs for 13,005, which is on this sheet right here, the one I cut in half. If you all could look at me, please, because you don't seem to retain this a lot, so. We all have the right page? Okay. All right, so IT lease agreements for 13.5. If we have any questions on the severity and the need of that, our IT director is present in the room, and I'm sure he could elaborate.
Very important.
Can you, yeah, make that more brief, please?
We
Yeah.
have discussed, it. I don't know if anybody
We have
needs.
discussed this at length. I gave you all the contracts and
Right.
information.
Yes.
So this again is a recap. I don't know if you want me to recreate the wheel because we can go dig all that up too. The next item is for $50,000. It's computer equipment with IT. I think the confusion in this, why you guys did not, and this is just my opinion after investigating all of this. I think you didn't approve it because a lot of the departments did get new computers this year, well, this year being 25. But that's not everybody, and there's still, this $50,000 is going to be an annual ongoing build, so you don't have a surprise that, oh, something, help me, Eric, if I'm saying anything wrong.
If I could jump in,
Thank you.
$50,000 to fund an operation this size of, computer gear over a year is about half what we probably ought to be paying. I can do a lot with 50,000, but I gotta have the 50,000.
So this is, and maybe this is a part of your ongoing asset plan, which the council still needs to see, right? If you can give that to us, it'd be helpful so we understand what you're planning and what these are. But I think it's just an ongoing 50,000 a year, so you can replace servers, computers, projectors, microphones, just keep the county functioning, right? Is that?
Yeah, I mean, servers probably not so much,
Okay.
but there's a whole lot of things that come out of that line beyond just getting replacement computers for people. But you named a whole bunch of them there.
Right. Okay.
Okay. Next item is IT security improvement. Again, this is a
Okay, so what this is for is, we have certain security systems in place throughout the county. The sheriff's department takes care of their own, but we're responsible for everything else. These are cameras, these are access control systems to swipe in and out of secured area of buildings. This particular line item is not to buy new equipment, it's to service the equipment we already have. Security equipment tends to be fairly expensive. And by having a partner like we do have that comes on site and repairs the gear, we get several more years out of our capital investment on that security equipment. So that's what this fund is all about. It's actually paying a guy to come and work on our systems to get more life out of the investment that we've already made.
Okay, so for the commissioner's department, that is 78.5. That is very imperative to the budget. Not sure how you want to, Julia, this would be another Jackie transfer, I don't know.
Yeah, we would have to actually remove the amount from the general fund, from the 2,600 fund. Put it, and then put it back into the actual general fund and then move it back
So
to.
we have to publicize anything if they approve? Or should we, this is another thing that I'm learning as we're doing all of this stuff. Is this something where we wouldn't move the money over until we had that invoice? Or would that go back to Scott's request to let them know what fund line we're building because we want to build the computer equipment fund line?
We can actually do either way you want to do it. I mean, if we don't want to move the money until they use it or they have to use it, and that would be okay as well.
I mean, obviously you guys took it out of the budget for a reason. So that's what I'm saying. If we need to wait until those expenses come in, like Jackie suggested doing with the other money in the health fund.
Yeah.
And is that another avenue to look at? Or, I mean, clean for the day, I would rather it just be done and over.
Me too. That's
But
how I look at it too.
you guys have your reasons. I mean, I don't know what they are.
I would rather it be done and over as well. That way we're not having to go back to this 100 million times. And
Well, part of the problem is that normally we would have done department head meetings and you would have described line by line exactly.
3 hours.
Let me finish.
Okay.
Normally, we would do department head meetings where we would go line by line and we would already understand kind of in that normal process of the budgeting. This wouldn't even be a discussion at this point, right? We would have heard that early on.
Yeah.
And so,
Which is how we don't do it.
Right, I don't necessarily want to revisit that, how things fell apart.
well,
in the
but what I'm
last-
saying is,
So going forward,
you know,
we're going to be addressing.
that's my point is, I mean, this is, and if you have, I mean, it's kind of thing is if you have a document that has a projected ongoing $50,000 IT expense, it's part of your plan for budgeting purposes, give it to the council, whether we ask for it or not, we don't even know it exists, right? And so we've asked for that, but provide that to us and then these questions become explained already. We don't have to ask them, but as far as the IT stuff, I think we just get that out of the way. Those sound like things, you need that probably tomorrow, right? And so let's get the IT stuff
There's a
moving.
contract.
Yeah.
That 13.5 is.
Yeah. Yeah, so,
Is it in that one?
She's there, yeah.
Okay. Are you there, Susan?
Yes, I apologize. I'm here.
No, that's all right. These are the numbers that we tabled at our last meeting. These are the transfers, correct?
So
They're not
clarify,
additionals. Go ahead.
yeah. Quick question, because I don't find it in the fund report. What's the 2,600 fund?
It is the fund that they put the health money in, or the health fund. The commissioners themselves put that money in.
It's the line sheet. It's an account line.
It's
One,
in
two,
an
six,
account
there.
line. Yeah, it's an account line
It's not
in the 1,000 fund.
the county account line is 12600.
Okay. So we're not taking out of that line for anything, right? We're leaving that as is so that if the commissioners need to pay for health insurance out of that, they pay for health insurance, correct?
They put more money into the economic development. We're leaving the money in the economic development to use for that.
Because once
Okay.
we put it in, they're come back out.
Yeah.
So we're gonna put
Yeah.
that in there as meeting.
So what you can do is, in order to balance this, you can do a reduction of appropriation in that 12600 line. And you can, so that way your general fund spending comes down. These would be an additional appropriation out of your other fund, your cum cap development fund.
Additional appropriation fee.
So give you an additional appropriation.
Not the appropriation drag.
Okay. You need to vote on that or make that official?
It does.
And that would be for,
For the $78,500 for the IT items that we mentioned.
So that will come at your next meeting. You already have one additional that you're bringing through. This will be another additional that you're bringing through.
Okay, so they wouldn't vote on that today. It's a next meeting.
It was
Correct.
tabled at our last meeting. Did not mean we get to vote on it this time. We're gonna table it for discussion for the vote on
Thanks,
Monday.
wanting you to table it so I get it into Gateway.
Okay.
Okay.
And having been on the receiving end of this not coming to fruition a few times, are the commissioners supposed to be here at that meeting to answer more questions on this? Or, well, what do you need from the commissioner's office at that meeting? Do we need to attend?
Council, anybody want them there? I think it'd be good just to, I mean, like I said, I don't want to drag this out for you any more than it has been, but if you'd like to be there to answer questions.
I just want it to go away.
Right, I do too.
Okay.
I do too.
You do? Okay.
I'm,
All right.
I'm motivated for this too.
So are we, any more questions on that area?
I just have a technical question. When you say in lieu of newspaper, it goes in Gateway, what if you walked out of your office and put it in Gateway? Does that do anything for us right now? Or what is the significance and time frame of that?
It still has to be 48 hours, correct?
I think it does have to be 48 hours.
48 hours, okay.
And I'll check on that because I don't recall them giving us a time on that, just as long as it goes into Gateway. So I'll check on that.
Okay, thank you.
Let's do, I mean, at least the similar notice as if we were going into the paper. I mean, for the public's purposes, when we add expenses to taxpayers, we just need to give them amount of time to see that reflect and say something if they want to say.
I'd rather give
something
them, I'd rather give them too much time than not enough time.
Yeah.
So.
Just
Rather
a
be
reminder, you
open,
did
open
not
and
approve the
transparent.
full publication budget. Putting stuff in the paper, I am finding, because we're paying the auditor's bills on those too, is very expensive. We have $7,000. We requested 9. You guys didn't approve that. And I've already got thousands. I've already spent my budget currently with her bills, my bills for publications. So just FYI,
Is that on top
it's
of the,
expensive.
on top of the Gateway?
Yeah, it's very expensive to put anything in the paper nowadays. It's,
I think that's why they changed it and where they
Yeah,
just have to
why
put it
they-
into Gateways because it,
So we
Not
don't
only
even need to
because
put it in
the-
paper anymore.
the papers are only going out once a
I
week.
think that we need to, we may have to bite the bullet and continue to do it. Because you have to transition your populace. Your populace is used to looking at the paper for those items. And it's a big change, so
It's true.
I agree with, I think everybody said is correct. We just need to learn how to educate our populace
Yeah.
on the new systems. But in doing so, I'm gonna come to you for another appropriation for publication. We've already spent.
And then the other, so that,
Ready to move on?
yes,
Okay, so, on this same sheet, that little half sheet I gave you has the, you see a 4,000 series down here. This is all your items for the coroner's office that were not approved. So again, this is me coming into territory that's really not mine. But it is hitting, it was supposed to hit the cap, which is ours. I have spoken with your coroner. Have you guys had any discussions with your coroner on his needs? Because the last meeting we had, that was the takeaway that the council was going to get with the coroner. Yes. The new vehicle, buildings and fixtures. We have a freezer problem. Are you guys aware of this? We have a freezer problem. The freezer is going to cost us $30,000. And right now we are freezing people. So that's the hot item that was taken out of his budget, that he didn't even have enough. It's sad.
is that a new freezer? put in the new building?
No, we used the old one from Earl.
Okay.
2008.
That's cool.
That's a 2008 model.
Okay.
That's cool.
And it's
That answers the
thermostat
question.
is off.
You drop them in the shower.
To fix the
It's a
thermostat,
lifeless joke.
and, it is creating some. But I'm not going to say that.
Is that, I don't see 30,000 on here. Is that a new,
That's new.
Yeah, that would
is
probably
that in addition to
need to
the?
be added to the machinery. and equipment.
We're actually
I don't know.
freezing everybody.
We could-
So let's add 30,000. If that's a new, how long has that been an issue? Okay,
A
so,
month ago.
so let's add 30,000 to furniture and fixtures, probably, or
Let's go with the equipment.
Yeah.
machinery.
Yeah, machinery.
Oh, yeah, equipment.
Yeah, machinery and
So
equipment.
it would
Yeah.
cost us as much if we just added to that.
So
What's 30?
you want 40,000?
20 or 19.5.
He probably does need some kind of a shore up. I mean, that would just wipe that totally
Yeah, but
out.
we could come back and ask for additional. in that manner.
So just make the machinery and equipment 30,000 instead of 10.5.
Yeah.
Okay. The other issue with the coroner's office is the vehicle purchase. Currently, what Mike is using is an old transport van from the sheriff's department that they got rid of. So it is, causing problems because it's not a four-wheel drive vehicle. And in the last scenario, when we found out that the freezer was freezing people, we found out that Mike had to pull up at the top of a hill and go down almost a quarter of a mile down the drive to get the body. And then had to get people to help him carry it all the way up just to transport it because he doesn't have a vehicle capable of reaching where we need him to reach in the county. So I don't know what the answer is, but I would say he needs a 4x4 vehicle of some kind. Is it something that we already have currently in the county that can be moved around?
Also, I think that's a liability issue because if we're going to start desecrating corpses, that could be an issue if some family got upset. And I'm very familiar with dead bodies. If you go freezing dead bodies, you cause a lot of issues. So I would think we need, I mean, that's just common sense. We need a vehicle, period. That's just common sense.
All right, let's add 50,000 there. What else?
No, 50,000 is already there.
I mean, let's include that.
Yeah, and then the other one is furniture and fixtures, which with Julie, that's kind of come into where that's
Mercedes
throughout the year. And then the buildings, so again, I think maybe the buildings, if you wanted to not approve something, the buildings is something that we could probably come back to you and say, hey, we have a water leak or, the door's busted, we need to fix it. But again, same as.
So do we know what that's for, or is it just for?
Continue generator?
It's just like in the other budgets, we all have.
So let's wait on that. If it's not an immediate, if there's any for any building, so there's no expense there, let's not put 11,000 in, unless there's a reason. Man,
Yes.
so there's no reason, let's keep it out.
Gary just brought.
I have a question.
It's $50,000 for a new CRATE.
He's got the generation.
He's got the generator apart from this?
Can you get one for 50?
What I just heard.
What?
DES.
Here it is, Jim.
I spell it. Oh, I got it. Violent disrespect.
Freezing it, causing cells to rupture.
Yeah.
Joel had a question.
Yes, Joe.
Yeah, there's 50,000 down here for vehicle purchase.
Yeah.
Can you get a new vehicle that a 4-wheel drive Suburban type is what he's gonna have to put it for 50 grand? I don't think so.
No, and he has been very, shy to bring all this up. He says no, but that's what he asked for.
Doesn't have to be a new vehicle.
Well,
Get one coming off lease. It's not like there's.
I don't think you have to have
miles he
it like
puts on.
decked out totally either.
Yeah, it's just, it's a, yeah,
Regular
just a,
vehicle.
I should have had like anti-smell stuff.
Have what he wanted, if he wants a.
Called Jim Stab under.
So
That's what we did.
comes getting people in and out.
Smoke a cigar.
That's his team for this.
Cells rupture.
A truck
Might not
with
be
a cab
able
on
to
it.
display.
Hey, Patrick, did you hear that?
No.
Kind of like the animal control truck.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
He's asking for a truck.
He's asking for a truck with a cab on the back
A truck with a shell.
to put put the bodies in the back, which is,
I don't know about that.
well, it wouldn't be, you'd still be on a stretcher.
I mean, I'm perceiving a four-wheel Bronco with a camper or something. What, you need a proper, somebody just needs to look and see what a proper vehicle would be for that. And the reason I say that is just, I can't answer that question, but I can say this. If you're a family member and your family member's body gets frozen and the cells rupture, the blood vessels rupture, the body is desecrated, correct? Or if you don't have the proper vehicle and the body gets damaged in some way, cannot be displayed for a funeral, who's at fault for that? Not only is that a reasonable statement, that's a moral statement. Treating a body with respect. So I can't answer what kind of vehicle we need because I'm not a coroner, but we would need a proper vehicle and someone to look and see what a proper vehicle for a coroner would be.
I can tell you that. Tire shell.
I think we need to, I don't know, someone probably needs to look at the coroner and see what the standard is.
Can you talk to him?
I don't know that I can talk to you. Anybody can ask him what would be a standard vehicle.
Respect the skill that would.
I said that he's talked to people about getting a 4x4 truck. He's had people from families, like you just said, say, I don't want my loved one in the back of a pickup truck.
All right, let's
And
do
that was an
this.
issue from several years ago when that was proposed.
Let's do this. Let's leave the 11,000 for the buildings in there and he can use that if needed to bump that up to 60,000 plus for a vehicle. If there's a Suburban that's needed, or, I mean, he's got an adequate vehicle now. He's got a van. And so maybe there's a 4-wheel drive van that would be able to be purchased for that amount or less. So, and to Tim's point, it can be used, you know, he's got a vehicle now that's adequate. But let's make sure the new one he gets, the next one is also adequate.
Correct.
Okay, so.
Good answer, Scott.
$93,250 would be the new request to hit Coop Cap. So in having said all of that, this is my question back to you all. Okay, so I had 152,250 for the request for the total hitting Coop Cap. And this is where I don't know. I'm asking the question. What does that do to what we're allowed to spend during the year of our cash in these funds? I guess is there enough cash, is there a cash reserve income cap that we can use? Or do we have to, how do we?
Well, I actually have that configured.
Because I know there's cash reserve income cap, which is why Reedy suggested this move on check items.
I'll have to check it and make sure to see what we've had.
I didn't want to overextend us, is what I'm saying.
You're
Yeah,
gonna
the request, and then you guys get in trouble because we overextended something.
Right. You're gonna get with Teresa and Dan on that?
Yeah.
Can you check it?
And this sheet here, this is just more of an itemized statement to show you guys what you moved into Coop Cap. So this top column right here, the 60,850, this is the money that you took out of the other department budgets to add to Coop Cap, because again, we found out that we weren't spending smartly and that this was a better place to spend that money. So that's why I gave you that itemized list to show you what you moved from people's budgets into MCAP budget.
And was the issue that they didn't know where to look for it?
Correct. They did not know where to look. They didn't know that their budget got in.
So
They didn't know that it got
you
in.
just need to let them know for sure that where to look for.
I think that Julie and you handled that problem when
Yeah,
you
we
met
talked
with every
about it.
department.
Mhm.
Right.
They wanted you guys to have the data.
Yeah, we just gave the
Okay.
judge her numbers this morning.
Okay.
So that's MCAP. That's all I have. So do I need to come back then? What do you need to prepare myself to give you what you need for your next meeting?
But there's a couple things on here that are repeated on the 2 pages.
Yes, they are.
The subtotal of 78.5 for the IT
Yes.
is included in this.
These are two separate sheets. This is
Right.
strictly just to show you the itemization.
Okay. this is the summary of what
Yes.
we need. Okay. Now, if you go up to the top there. The 1138 cum cap for 152, 250.
Which just got raised a little bit because of that 30 grand, but yes.
Okay. And then the economic development, 660, 500.
Economic development, that is the, that is,
Is that what was taken out of the health?
Yeah.
And it's staying where it is.
Yep.
is it, I mean, are you gonna appropriate it to that? You're just gonna leave it in the 11?
Leaving it there until if we need it, and then we appropriate the amount we need in it.
And we appropriate.
Every quarter, we will appropriate some
We'll
into there.
see if we need to appropriate, because you did roll over almost $1 million.
Right.
So,
So it will sit there and that's the only thing that's going to be used. And when it does need transfer, it needs to be appropriated from there. Or it's already appropriated sitting in there.
It's already in there, you already approved it in the budget. It will be when she gets done with the
Okay.
year.
Instead of rolling it into the health fund.
We're gonna sit
It's in a
quarterly.
economic
We don't-
Because
development,
once it
so it
goes
doesn't get
in there,
trapped.
there's
So,
a
of it
check
will be
valve
put in there
that
quarterly.
Cannot come back out. It's only gonna go in there as it's needed to go in.
So that 660 is a part of the million you were asking about, is what I'll say,
Mhm.
not. Right. So it's really not a million. It's a major problem. Those were
no,
a
you
question.
moved around over $1 million.
Yeah,
That's
and
that.
660 of that was a question about how we should handle it, and that has
Correct.
been resolved.
With Jackie at that other meeting.
That's been resolved.
And it was
It's not an
just gonna-
issue.
It's just gonna sit there and do
It's
nothing.
been resolved.
Yeah.
Great.
So it's still,
And
it's
as
still,
well
it's still a
as-
reserve. It's
yeah,
still
yeah.
in reserve,
Yeah, it's just being
but it's in.
monitored.
Yeah.
And the cum cap has also been resolved. That was a question
Yes.
included in the million. That has also been resolved. That's another 152,000.
Well, you raised it, you have
You know, we had 30. So
Yeah, there've been some changes to that.
750.
Been some changes to that. So now we're up to, that's 800 and some thousand. And really, the only thing that's remaining out of the question about the $1 million, we have also resolved through the IT department increase, authorization. So really, we've resolved.
No, you haven't resolved it all.
What else is left?
Public safety, 1170, that $15,000. We had in our budget, the sheriff's department with the commissioners had in the budget for the lease and the it's called two different things.
Is that on here? I don't see it.
Yeah, it's public safety. It's the 1170.
Right here, 15,000 at the top, the summary.
It was for the database for the
Yeah.
cameras.
So what it is it's the program that when you, and Patrick Nylander can probably correct me if I'm wrong, it's the system that when you go in, you get fingerprinted and.
I can actually address
Thank you.
this because I put directly on it. iRecord is the name of the product. And after that meeting, which I was also present for, we solicited some bids from iRecord and a competing vendor. And I think the competing vendor is gonna probably be the way we want to go on that. I don't.
Is it still, because when we had the last meeting, they brought up that it was gonna be $67,000 that we needed to pay in increments years. Is that not
So
dropped?
coming out of that meeting, my recollection was that you guys had asked us to look into whether we could get a discount if we paid for it up front, which we definitely can. So it's definitely less than the 67,000.
But it's gonna be more than the 15.
Definitely, yeah.
So what we're seeing here just needs to be
Just,
updated.
digressing back for just a moment.
Yeah.
Under the American mortuary folks, there are standards that need to be met, for coroner's vans. They have to contain a refrigerated compartment, perhaps, well, it does say lift systems, 1,000 pounds, evidence storage. But my point is this, without going through all of that, you can see by that little bit of detail I just gave you, you can't just put them in the back of an animal truck, so to speak.
Yeah, no.
No, and I'm not attacking you. I'm not attacking you. I'm trying to give you ammunition as to what needs to be done. That's all. I'm just giving you ammunition as what needs to be corrected. period.
So the 15,000 on the public safety, and I'm remembering now that's the cameras and such,
Yeah.
that needs to be updated.
Probably gonna have
This
to be
is
more.
not what you're asking for.
Well, they've gotten a lot more data information on it.
Larry Curly, baby.
Created the spreadsheet. So that's not something that I want to ask for today.
So you are, so.
You're gonna take that 15,000 off and then.
Correct.
Support it at another.
Okay. But as far as the million, we had lots of questions about, all of those issues have been resolved. It's all been resolved. There are no issues there.
I'm not gonna know the outcome of everything until the auditor's office gets all the appropriations done and everything's updated. Normal capacity.
Our meeting that was with Chip and Julie and I, there was one other item on line number 33,000, highway asked for 60K. We gave them 100, but they only need 60.
The highway has said that they're going to try to figure their stuff out with the current funds and money they have.
Keep it. Was that a gas line? Was that fuel?
No, that is just so that. The fuel.
I remember the detail on that one.
The,
Spent a lot of time on that budget. I don't know why anybody changed it without talking to them, but.
the, fuel stuff, it is low amounts, so I knew it would be big. We're not gonna have the data for a full year, right? We gotta go through it. I will tell you that part of your professional services that we did approve is because we do have issues with that fuel system. We're in compliance, but we have things we need to update. So that is creating some possible litigation things. So that is another item that is going to be brought up. Did that answer your $1 million question?
I mean, it's more, you had the questions about the millions, and I think they've all been resolved, and most of it was not an issue. It's just a clarification, if I understood right.
I think we're good.
Okay, so when we bring this back for a vote on our Monday meeting, we need to have the resolution with details. And ready to vote on. Get this finally.
I want to get the
Put to rest.
appropriation numbers. I can send them over to Susan.
Okay. Yep. As much detail as reasonably possible.
I'll send them to you too.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Any council member business or concerns? Would you be willing to work with the coroner on
Yeah, I mean, it'd be,
contact him? And
I don't know about, yeah, it's just a matter of complying with the standard that's already written.
It's a matter of finding the four-wheeler.
Well, yeah, but there, as I point out, there are other standards other than just a four-wheel
Well,
drive.
if you could just get that, yeah, and
Yeah.
get with him, get him details and what he's looking for, so we can be in compliance.
Here on vehicles.
Just don't stay too
Just
long.
bring this up too. On vehicles, I sent an email around to all of you. I didn't get any responses from anybody, but planning and zoning also is down a vehicle and they don't have a vehicle now to do it. The vehicle they were using was from an old vehicle from Sheriff's Department.
I saw that email, and
Yeah.
Highway responded, said they had a vehicle.
That she suggested is the reason why it's out there is because it's no good to any of us. So that's not an option.
Okay, so I think that's why you didn't see responses. The council thought there was
Well,
a
we all
solution.
knew that wasn't an option. That's why I didn't respond. So,
There are no other vehicles available.
no, we went through the vehicles. very intently this last year and audited our whole insurance system. So we've got vehicles off and on the insurance and there's no spares. We don't have any spares anymore.
Is there something, I don't know, just go to the capital asset plan, is there a vehicle that needs to rotate off that could rotate there that needs to be replaced?
Maybe that's something that you should bring up with Brad. I'm not really sure. Brad and Paul will probably know more about that than I would. I just know that, I mean, that's not my department. That's not ours. I just know that that's a need over there. She brought it up to me. I threw it out to you guys, commissioners and highway and sheriff. But, the avalanche isn't an option.
Are they stuck now without a vehicle?
Yes.
Okay.
And the vehicle that Lonnie is using is the old animal control truck. And we had to sink a lot of cash into that, which has actually hit the commissioner's budget because they didn't have all the cash. And we've got it running, but it's not a long-term solution either. It's a Band-Aid. So we do have, speaking to you also, sir, and all of you, we do have a big vehicle. Not, the sheriff's department, I think, is on a good road because now they're gonna purchase vehicles and you budgeted for them to do so. So they're on the right path. But the rest of the county vehicles need some attention. It's not a front burner thing, but it kind of is because you got inspectors who can't get around.
It sounds like we're now up to 3 vehicles that we need. And we don't know what additional vehicles are gonna be needed, or nobody's looking at that, or.
This is brand new information, sir. This is brand new and like
Safety.
happening.
What kind of a vehicle would they actually need? Do they take?
Well, again, well, here, and Melissa probably shoot me for saying this, but we have a lot of Jeeps over at the health department, and the Jeeps would be more ideal because they got the Jeeps because they need a 4-wheel drive to get back to the different locations when an emergency happened. This would be the same scenario that your inspectors and corner and everybody else still, they need that type of vehicle. So
At least.
can we do an audit of all the vehicles and try to shift some around? I'm not talking about the sheriff's department, so if Brad's listening, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying all the other county vehicles to see how we better utilize our assets.
Yeah.
So that we don't have to spend the money.
Yeah, that's usually part of an asset management plan, all the equipment and vehicles is why I was asking.
Which we're in the middle of, so
That falls under the umbrella of the
this
commissioners.
is new information, so. But I wanted to bring that's.
Anybody else have anything? Anyone? Anyone? Any critique of the meeting?
Motion to adjourn.
Good.
The motion adjourned.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.